Hello, this is checkpoint 2.26. It says a AAA party supply store sells invitations, party favors, decorations, and food service items such as paper plates, napkins, etc. When AAA buys inventory, it pays 35 cents per package for invitations and party favors. Decorations cost 50 cents each, and food service costs 20 cents per package. AAA sells invitations, so this is the selling part now. $2.50 per package, party favors $1.50, and decorations $4.50. Food items will be $1.25. All right, this is part one, which is actually an example given in the textbook. Part two is the actual checkpoint. So let's take a look at part one. During May, the AAA party supply store sells 1,258 invitations, 342 party favors, 2,426 decorations, and 1,354 food service items. Use vectors and dot products to calculate how much money AAA made in the sales during the month of May. How much did the store make in profit? All right, so we need to figure out the sales and the profit. Just to look ahead, June 1st, the party supply decided to increase their price and charge a different amount for party favors and change suppliers for the invitation. So now it's only 10 cents per package, etc. So all their costs remain the same. AAA sells 1,408 invitations, 147 party favors, 2112 decorations, and 1894 food service items in the month of June. Use vector and dot products again to calculate their sales. Okay, let's do part A first. Well, first let's establish the fact that we're going to be using vectors, and our vectors will be represented by some components. And so the first thing we want to include are let's just go in order here. When AAA buys its inventory, it pays for invitations, so invites. Party favors. And decorations. And food services. So that's how our vectors are going to look like for each of these. We're going to look at these vectors as an ordered set of numbers that would be describing invitations, party favors, decorations, and food service. Okay, so let's see. Let's figure out the cost first. So for part A, this is the part we're working on right now. There is a cost for these things, and this is the amount of money that they will need to pay. When AAA buys inventory, it pays 25 cents for invitations. So our first part here would be 25 cents. And party favors, I guess they're the same price, so that's also 25 cents. 50 cents for the food service items. Oh, that's last, so let's do decorations first. Decorations cost 50 cents. And food service items cost 20 cents. So this is our cost vector for this. What's next? We need to know the price that they're selling. So let's take a look at the price that they're selling things for. And when AAA sells invitations, they go for $2.50. So invitations are first again. So this is the price. And this is $2.50 for the invitations. The party favors cost $1.50. Decorations sell for $4.50. and food items are $1.25. Okay, so that's that. Now let's answer the questions. This is the quantity that they're dealing with for the month of May. Quantity, and they sell 1258 invitations, 342 party favors, 2,426 decorations. That's a third one. And then the last one is 1,354 food service items. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the question. They are asking, use vectors, dot product to calculate how much money they made during the month of May in sales. So we need the sales. So this is the sales would be the price that they're selling things for and the quantity that they sold for. So for the first part, sales will be, we can take the dot product of these two to figure out the total amount. And so we'll call this the price vector dotted with the quantity vector. Okay, so what is that? There's 1258 invitations selling for $2.50 each, and then there's 342 party favors selling for $1.50, and there are 2426 decorations being sold for $4.50. This is $4.50, and then last, the food items. There's 1354 food items selling for $1.50, or I'm sorry, $1.25. All right, so this is this multiplication that's happening can be treated as this dot product like a vector. All right, I think put together, this is going to be calculated to be 16,267 and then 50 cents. So that's your total sales. Okay, now they want the how much did the store make its profit, so revenue. So this is the sales, and I think we need to figure out the revenue, we need to figure out how much they spent and then subtract that. So let's compute the cost, the total cost for this month, and then the profit will be the difference. So the cost would be the cost times the quantity. So that's the vector C dotted with the quantity. And by the way, these are vectors, so we should denote them as such. So what we're going to do for this, the cost part, is we need to take the dot product between the cost and the quantity. So we're going to do the dot product between those, and I'm just going to tell you the result that I got. The result that I got is $1,883.80, which will lead us to the profit now. So the profit will be the total sales, and then you subtract out the cost. So sales minus the cost, kind of like the revenue. So that's P dotted with Q minus C dotted with Q. And we have this distribution property where you can subtract P minus C and then distribute the Q and the dot product. But we won't do that because we actually had the values already. So the total sales was 16,267 and 50 cents, and we're subtracting out 1883 and 80 cents, and that total will end up being $14,383.70. Okay, that's not a bad profit. Let's go back over here and redo the same thing, except here in part B, they're saying that they changed the price they charge for the party favor to $2 per package. So the store decided to increase the price they charge for the party favor, so that's the second slot, and that's what they charge over here. So from $1.50 to $2. They also changed the suppliers for invitations, so now they are able to purchase invitations for only 10 cents a package. So invitations over here, they were paying 25 before, now they're going to pay 10 cents a package. All right, and so now they're going to sell different amounts here. So let's just redo this problem, and well, we don't need arrows there, we just need a new cost. So the new cost that we're dealing with is going to be for invitations, that's the change to 10 cents per package, so 0.10. Everything else is the same, so that's 25 cents for the party favors, 50 cents for the decorations, and 20 cents for the food supplies. The price that they are selling now, the party favors went up to $2, so the party favors, the second one, goes up. So the price for the invitations remains the same at $2.50. Party favors went from $1.50 to $2. The decorations are still $4.50, and the food item stuff is $1.25. Okay, so now we have the quantity, and these are the quantities that they have on June 1st. They sell 1,408 invitations, so invitations go first, 1408. 147 party favors, 147 party favors, that goes second. 2112 decorations, and 1,894 food items. Okay, I think we have pretty much the same questions here. Total sales and then the profit. So we'll start off with sales. So the sales would be, again, P dot Q. So this time we have different P and different Q. So we're going to take the 1408, we're going to multiply 250, and then we'll take 147, multiply that by $2. And then the 2,112, multiply that by 450, and then take the 1894, multiply that by 125. All right, so we're going to get the total here to be 15,685 and 50 cents. Okay, so to figure out the total profit, we also need to figure out the cost. So let's figure out the cost. The cost is C dotted with Q, and I'm just going to write down the result for that. That's 1,612 and 35 cents. And then now finally the profit. is the difference. So that's P dot Q minus C dot Q. So that will be 15,685 and 50 cents minus 1,612.35 cents. And that turns out to be close to the other one, $14,073.20. All right, that's your result, and that's it for this checkpoint. Good luck.